Miriam Cates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Non-binary is a term for gender identities that are not solely male or female, identities that are outside the gender binary. So what do we mean by gender? Well, the word gender used to be interchangeable with biological sex. And biological sex is indeed binary. Humans, as all mammals, have either male or female sex chromosomes in every cell. We are male or female. That is immutable, and it's scientifically indisputable. So what is gender identity? Well, gender is sometimes used as a descriptor of how masculine or feminine something is perceived to be, a particular character trait, a choice of clothing, a type of behaviour. We all understand what feminine or masculine clothes look like, though of course these stereotypes change between cultures and over time. Certain preferences are considered to be more masculine or feminine, and certain characteristics are more common in males or females. But we all know both males and females who possess these traits. And given how important one's sex is to our biology and our psychology, it would be very odd indeed if our sex didn't have some influence over our choices and behaviour. So what is the evidence for the idea that someone could have a gender identity that is different to their biological sex? The idea that you can be male but feel female, or in the case of non-binary, that you can be either male or female but feel neither or both. Now, it's absolutely normal for an individual to feel that they don't fit in with cultural or stereotypical ideas of how boys or girls, men or women should behave. How many of us in this room feel like we fit into a purely male or female or any other stereotype? No one fits completely neatly into a mould. And some people feel that they don't fit at all. So of course it's possible for someone to feel that they identify in some ways more with people of the opposite sex than their own, or not particularly with either. This is a normal part of the human experience. But whilst there are infinite different ways to express masculinity and femininity, it doesn't follow, logically or scientifically, that your soul or self has a gender, or that that gender is distinct from your biological sex. There's no observable marker for what it feels like to be female or male, because no one knows what it feels like to be anyone other than ourselves. And if we see a person's likes or dislikes, preferences and behaviours only through the lens of gender, then we've lost sight of a concept far more important and evidence-based, the variety of human personality. Through the wonder of DNA and the infinite permutations of upbringing and environment, every one of us has a unique personality. But those who see everything through the lens of gender are watching humanity in black and white, rather than through the glorious technicolor of the richness and variety of human nature. And in trying to squeeze all that human diversity into the box of gender, there's also a danger of losing a grip on material reality. Now, some people struggle intensely with gender distress, some from a very early age, and they should be treated with the utmost compassion and care, and receive all the care and support and treatment they require. Adults should, of course, in this country be free to dress and present in any way without fear or discrimination and fully accepted. But in this country, our law is based on facts and evidence and material reality. It shouldn't be used to embed contested and unevidenced ideologies that can sometimes be harmful. And I will explain why I do believe this ideology is so harmful. Children are now being taught in schools that there are more than two genders, that they can change their gender. They are being told by trusted adults that if they are gender non-conforming, itself a regressive concept that we threw out in the 1980s, then that might mean they were born in the wrong body. In one classroom, children are being taught the facts of sexual reproduction, and in another, that women can have penises and men can have periods. They're being told to suppress the evidence of their own eyes by saying that a boy is now a girl is now a boy, or neither boy nor girl. Vulnerable children, those particularly who are autistic, same-sex attracted, or have other mental health conditions, latch on to gender theory as an explanation of why they might be different, why they don't fit in. These children then look up trans and non-binary online. They're drawn in by adults they don't know on Discord and TikTok who tell them how to obtain and inject cross-sex hormones. They follow YouTube stars who glorify surgical transition. Schools jump into transitioning children, changing their names and their pronouns, celebrating their new gender status publicly, sometimes without informing their parents, cutting them off from the people who care about them most. There has been a 15-fold increase in children referred to gender clinics, and an exponential rise in the number of trans and non-binary identified children in school. And let's remember the ultimate consequences of transition: infertility, loss of sexual function for life. For girls, permanent facial hair, a deep voice, male pattern baldness, and lifelong health problems. This is a failure of safeguarding. It's not biology, it's ideology, and in many cases, it's indoctrination. It's not open-minded or compassionate to teach a child that they may be trans or non-binary. It's not open-minded or compassionate to encourage a child to look up gender on the internet and to talk to adults who ask them intimate questions and for intimate pictures. It's not open-minded or compassionate to tell a child that their teenage problems can be solved overnight by a rejection of their own body and a denial of their biological sex. We need to wake up. Gender theory is not the next frontier in the culture war or a new battle for civil rights. It's an unevidenced ideology that is causing harm to women, to children, and to people who are gay and lesbian. There is a significant amount of work to do to fix the safeguarding failures that are taking place in some schools, and I'm delighted that my right honourable friend, the Education Secretary, is aware of some of these issues. But to recognise non-binary as a gender identity in statute would be a mistake, separating law from reality and putting vulnerable children at risk. But I do want to echo the comments of my honourable friend from Don Valley. This is a debate about people, and I fully recognise that there are many people in this country who do identify as non-binary and should absolutely be accepted. But this is a matter of putting ideology into law, and we should